Hey everyone, I'm Madison Morris here inside Chesapeake Energy Arena with a dead microphone, but we are going to tell you guys about the loss the Thunder took to the Minnesota Timberwolves at 119 to 117. Paul George was able to drop 27 points. Russell Westbrook has a double-double at 25 points and 16 assists, and Steven Adams has a double-double of his own with 20 points and 12 rebounds. All right, guys, but the real story of tonight is at the 5:17 mark in the third quarter. Nerlens Noel takes a hard fall to the ground, has a couple head bounces on the hardwood floor, gets stretchered off the floor, and does not return for the remainder of the game. Right now, his status is a little unknown. He did go to OU Medical Hospital. He is being looked at, and he will be reevaluated, and we'll know more then. But until then, we're going to take you into the locker room to hear from Billy Donovan, Steven Adams, Russell Westbrook, and Jeremy Grant.
I thought we did some really good things offensively tonight. I thought we moved the ball. I thought we generated some really good looks. And I think a lot of the shooting percentages, both from the field and from the three-point line, I think were a byproduct of some good ball movement. I thought the difference in the game was, we put them to the free throw line too many times, and I think we got hurt on the offensive glass, or our defensive glass. I thought that was the difference in the game. They took 40 free throws and huge discrepancy in terms of the number of free throws they made in relationship to us, and I think really that was the difference in the game. Obviously, I thought our three-point defense was pretty good. They made a couple timely threes on some offensive rebounds and some kickouts, but other than that, I thought the difference was their rebounding and us fouling.
Billy, do you have an update on Nerlens Noel's status at all?
He's just at OU Medical right now, getting further evaluation, and don't have any more detail other than that.
Billy, was the cause of those rebounds all the rebounds that you lost, was that just bad bounces mostly, or was it effort?
No, I think there was some long rebounds we didn't come up with, but there was a lot of plays around the basket. We didn't block out on the free throw line at times, and we gave some rebounds there. I think the one thing about the rebound, you can overcome the offensive rebounding when they're not converting. And I think for the most part, we got punished when we did not offensive rebound. It generally resulted in, I don't know what the number was, but it resulted in, for a good portion of the game, the ones that they got, points for them.
Billy, one more thing about Nerlens. Can you say whether or not he lost consciousness?
I didn't know that. I just know that our medical staff ran out there. There were so many people around him, I couldn't see whether or not his eyes were open or not. But obviously it was when he went down, I saw him go down, and then I think some of the players waved the medical over. And by the time I got off the bench, there was so many people around him, I just kind of gave a doctor space to do what they were doing. So I didn't really get close enough to see what kind of state he was in.
Coach, can you take me through the last play where you're satisfied about the execution?
We got a switch, and you got Russell on Towns, he got a pretty clean look off. I thought Steven did a great job offensive rebounding, and then was able to kick it back out to Russ. I think that the floor, when Russell drove on the initial action, got a little bit congested. We maybe could have been a little bit better with our spacing, but for the most part, we got our point guard on their center, which we felt was a pretty good matchup.
Russ, I imagine that'd be really hard to be out there when you see Nerlens down like that. What's going through your head, and how do you manage that situation with your team?
I'd just rather not talk about it.
Seemed like you really took control in the third, fourth quarters, getting downhill, attacking. Why were you able to get those blow-bys?
Just adjusting, making game adjustments, and see. Kind of heard it playing you to start, and then that's kind of what I did.
What did you think of the final possession? Looked like you guys got 3 cracks at it.
Yeah, got some looks. Missed them. Move on to the next.
So was this a similar script to Sunday night? Just not enough takeaways, not enough offensive or defensive rebounds?
I don't know.
Steven, I can't imagine what it's like to be out there and watch Nerlens go down like that. Just what were you feeling and thinking in that moment, and how did you continue on?
What was I feeling? Regardless, it was just of what I was feeling. It's just a really good play. It's unfortunate that it happened. Obviously Wiggins didn't mean to do any of that. That should be said. Shouldn't be taking any blame for that whatsoever. It's just one of those crazy plays that happen, you know. Unfortunately, they responded quite quickly. Medical staff and whatnot, so it was really good. I felt like he was in the best hands and at the time, you know, which is good.
What was the key to the comeback down the stretch? I think you were down 9 and were able to make it close there at the end and give yourselves a chance.
What was the keys?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just obviously in a nutshell, it's just get stops and score basically. But I mean, there was no real focus apart from just trying to contain Wiggins as best as we could. Played around with forcing him to his left hand instead of his right hand driving. I mean, because he found a couple dudes wide open, you know, on his drives. And that is, yeah, that's probably the only minor detail. Other than that, man, it was just our normal trying to rely on the system, both ends. Anything
you noticed about the long rebounds that they were able to get, and then the number of times they had to go to the free throw line?
What happened on the...
Yeah, just any reasons why you feel like they were able to get so many long rebounds, and also why they were able to go to the free throw line so many times?
Mate, I need to look at film, but obviously it comes down to a box out. But then again, mate, you could box someone out and you just get an unfortunate bounce. You know, you could box out as best as you can. You just get an unfortunate bounce. You know, it ends up going someone's way. You know, so maybe a bit of that, but then maybe also just a bit of trying to lock onto the next moment of the play, if that makes sense. So, shot's up. Now it's time to get my man out, looking out for open long rebounds or whatever. But I don't know. It's always a weird one, though. You know, it's a weird one.
Jeremy, you and Nerlens go back pretty far. What are you feeling, and how do you deal with seeing him down like that?
Definitely tough. Said a couple prayers for him. Just try to go check on him if I can.
You and I talked this morning about those long rebounds and how they can be elusive. What were you seeing tonight as to why they were able to kind of break free and get some of those?
Yeah, towards the end of the game, it was a lot of long rebounds. Yeah, we just should have got them.
They went to the free throw line 40 times tonight. Do you see any common threads as to how those fouls were racking up?
I'd rather not speak on that.
You guys feel like you're in a slump, Jeremy? I mean, you came back from Portland, haven't played so well, now 2 straight sort of dud games.
No, we're fine. We'll get it together.
All right, guys, that does it here from Chesapeake Energy Arena. The Thunder are on the road in San Antonio on Thursday night to face the Spurs before returning back home to Oklahoma City to host the Spurs for the second time. Stay up to date with us on our social media accounts at Brady Does Sports and at Madison Morris, and stick with us on thefranchiseok.com, and we'll see you back here in Chesapeake Energy Arena on Saturday.